Hi, superstars. It's time for math. We are on lesson 11-1. Count using patterns to 30. Okay, let's look at our first problem. It says count aloud to 30 while you point to each number. What patterns do you see or hear when you count to 30 using the numbers on the chart? Color the boxes that show a pattern you find. All right, so let's count from 1 to 30. And let's touch each one as we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So what patterns did you see or hear as we were counting? Well, now when we counted the first row, we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when we counted the last row, we repeated 1 through 9. So we said 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. So we repeated the numbers 1 to 9 in the third row also. Were there any other patterns that you noticed? Well, when we go down a column, for instance, 5, 15, 25, we see that 5 is in each of these numbers. And if you go down any of the columns, you'll see that the number repeats itself going down. So there are patterns as we count. Let's watch this video.
How can you use patterns to count?
Let's find out.
What do you see? There is a number chart from 1 through 30. What else do you notice about the chart? Some of the numbers have been colored. Why have the numbers 1 and 21 been colored the same color? They both have 1 in the number when you say it. What do the other colored squares show on the chart? They show other numbers that sound alike. When something is repeated, we call this a pattern. Why is the middle row not colored? These numbers do not sound alike. What has been colored the same in this chart? The numbers that are the same have been colored the same. The part of each number that has been colored is called the ones. The numbers going across are in rows. Count by ones along the top row. What happens to the ones as you count along the row? They change each time. The numbers going down are in columns. What happens to the ones in the columns? They stay the same. The part that has not been colored is the tens. What happens to the tens as you count along the row? They stay the same until the last one. Count by tens down a column. What happens to the tens in the columns? They change each time. Now you can use these patterns to help you count.
All right, let's look at our guided practice and let's look at our first problem. It says count forward from 1 to 10 and count aloud and point to each number as you say it. So point to each number as we count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now listen to the following numbers in the bottom row and then draw a circle around the number in the top row and the part of the number in the bottom row that sound alike. 21. What numbers sound alike? Did you hear 1? 21. So we said 1 in the top row and 1 in the bottom row. Now listen to the next number. 22. We heard 2 and we heard 2. 22. Now 23. Did you hear the 3? We heard the 3 in 3 and the 3 in 23. 24. So we heard 4. So we're going to circle both 4s. 25. We hear 5. And 26. So we're going to circle the 6 and circle this 6. Now listen to the pattern and color the numbers that you hear. 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's look at problem number 3. You're going to listen to the count and you're going to color the numbers that you hear and then tell what pattern that you see or hear. So for number 3, you're going to color in the following numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now for number 4, you're going to color in 25, 26, 27, and 28. So how are the numbers on the top row and the bottom row similar? The ones in each row follow the same pattern. So they increase by 1 as we count. All right, let's look at number 5. You're going to color in these following numbers. 4, 14, and 24. And for number 6, you're going to color in these following numbers. 16, 17, 18, and 19. So are the numbers that we colored for problem number 5 in a row or in a column? 4, 14, and 24. They're in a column. So look at the next column. And what do you notice? So all of the numbers in the next column, 5, 15, and 25, they also end in a 5. Are the numbers that you colored for problem number 5, Are those numbers also similar? 4, 14, 24. So the 4 is repeating itself when you go down the column. It ends in that same number. So if you notice each of the columns, you'll see that same number ending each number. 3, 13, 23, 2, 12, 22. Look at any column and you're going to see that pattern. So now let's look at 16, 17, 18, and 19. Are those numbers in a column or in a row? They're in a row. So what changes as we move along the row? The 1 changes by 1 each time. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Do you see that pattern? All right, let's move on. Okay, we're on independent practice number 7 and 8. We're going to do number 7 and 8 together. I want you to listen to the count and color the numbers that you hear. So for number 7, I want you to color 7, 17, and 27. And for number 8, I want you to color 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So let's look at the numbers on the top row. How are the numbers on the top row, and now look at the bottom row, similar? So the ones in the row, they follow the same pattern. So when we look at the row, which is 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, we see that the numbers increase by 1. You see it? There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The numbers increase by 1. Now, do the ones stay the same in the row or in the column? So if we look at the column, remember the columns are from top to bottom right here. Let me get my pen. Remember the columns are from top to bottom. So do the ones stay the same in the rows? And this is the rows. The rows go across. So are the ones the same in the row or in the column? In the columns. So we have 7 here, 7, and 7. That's in the ones position. That stays the same. So in the columns, the ones stay the same. Now, looking at the row, do the 10s stay the same in the rows, or do the 10s stay the same in the columns? So the 10s are the first number, the 2. And over here, it's the 1 and the 2. So in which one did they stay the same? Did the 10s stay the same in the rows or in the columns? In the rows. So if we look at 21, we see that the 10s are a 2 here, 20. And it stays the same as we go across. So the 2 is staying the same. That is the 10s. And the 1s are changing. So we have 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. That 2 is staying the same. So that 2 is in the 10s position. So the 10s are staying the same. Now, if you're going in the column, the ones are staying the same. The ones are the 7, the 7, the 7. That's in the ones position, and that stays the same. All right, superstars, I want you to continue doing the rest independently. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.